The fluorescent lights buzz overhead as I watch my sister Emma writhing on the gurney, her face pale and twisted with pain. Blood seeps through the bandage on her abdomen where the appendix nearly burst. My parents hover frantically beside her bed, my mother stroking Emma's hair while my father demands answers from every nurse who passes. None of them have looked at me once since we arrived an hour ago. This scene is sickeningly familiar. 10 years ago, I lay on this exact same type of gurney in this exact same emergency room, burning with fever from pneumonia that had progressed to sepsis. My parents had brought me in, signed the forms, then left for Emma's dance recital. "We'll be back," they'd promised. They returned 3 days later after I'd nearly died alone. But that was my first life. This time, things are different. This time, I'm Dr. Sarah Chen, head of pediatric surgery at Metropolitan General Hospital. This time, I'm the one they need. "Excuse me," I say, stepping forward in my pristine white coat, my stethoscope draped around my neck like armor. "I'm Dr. Chen. I'll be reviewing this case." My father looks up, confusion flickering across his face. There's no recognition in his eyes, just the desperate gratitude of a parent clinging to hope. "Doctor, please, our daughter needs surgery immediately. The other doctor said her appendix could rupture any moment." I pick up Emma's chart, scanning the notes with practiced efficiency. The irony tastes bitter on my tongue. "I see. And you are?" "David and Margaret Lynn," my mother says, her voice trembling. "This is our daughter, Emma. She's only 19. She has her whole life ahead of her." Their daughter, Emma. Not their daughters, just Emma. Even now, even when I'm the one holding Emma's fate in my hands, I'm invisible to them. "I understand your concern," I say calmly, making a note on the chart. "However, I'm afraid there's been a complication. Our surgical schedule is completely full tonight." My father's face goes white. "What do you mean full? This is an emergency." "Emergency cases are prioritized based on several factors," I explain, my voice clinical and detached. "Medical history, family support systems, likelihood of post-operative compliance." I pause, letting the words sink in. "Tell me, Mr. and Mrs. Lynn, do you have other children?" They exchange confused glances. "We had another daughter," my mother whispers, "but she died years ago. A medical mistake." A medical mistake. That's what they told people when I died from the sepsis they'd allowed to ravage my body through neglect. Easier than admitting they'd abandoned their sick child for a dance recital. "I see." I nod sympathetically. "That must have been difficult. Were you present during her final moments?" My father shifts uncomfortably. "We... There were complications. We couldn't..." "You left her alone." The words slip out before I can stop them, carrying more weight than they should from a stranger's lips. My mother's eyes widen. "How did you..." I catch myself, forcing my expression back to professional neutrality. "I've seen many cases like this. Family dynamics often impact patient outcomes." I close the chart with a sharp snap. "I'll see what I can do about the surgical schedule, but I can't make any promises." As I turn to leave, Emma's weak voice stops me. "Please," she gasps. "I'm scared. I don't want to die." The words pierce through my carefully constructed armor. This is my sister, the golden child who received every ounce of love I was denied. But she's also just a scared 19-year-old girl facing her mortality. "You won't die," I say firmly, and for a moment, my professional mask slips. "I won't let that happen." The surgical prep takes 2 hours. 2 hours of watching my parents pace the waiting room, clutching each other, whispering prayers to a God who apparently plays favorites. They called their friends, their pastor, Emma's boyfriend. They've mobilized an entire support network for their precious daughter. I remember my own surgery 10 years ago. Different hospital, different life, but the same desperate need for someone, anyone, to care. The nurses had been kind, but they weren't family. I died alone, surrounded by strangers, while my parents watched Emma receive a participation trophy for her failed pirouette. "Dr. Chen?" Dr. Martinez, my chief resident, appears at my elbow. "The OR is ready. But are you sure you want to perform this surgery yourself?" "It's a relatively simple appendectomy. I could handle it." "No," I say, my fingers drumming against the metal clipboard. This one's personal. The surgery goes flawlessly. It always does when I operate. I've had 10 years of rebirth to perfect my skills, to become the surgeon I could never be in my first life. When I was Sarah Lynn, I dreamed of medical school, but my parents had laughed it off. Emma's the smart one, they'd said. You should focus on something more practical. Now I save lives daily while Emma dropped out of college twice. Appendix is out, I announced to the surgical team. Clean margins, no complications. She'll make a full recovery. As we close, I think about the words I'm going to say to my parents, the reveal I've been planning since the day I walked back into their lives through the hospital's front doors. But looking down at Emma's peaceful face under anesthesia, I feel something I hadn't expected. Relief. Not just for the revenge, but because she's safe. The waiting room erupts when I emerge, still in my surgical scrubs. My parents rush toward me, their faces desperate for good news. The surgery was successful, I announce. Your daughter will make a full recovery. My mother bursts into tears of relief, my father shaking my hand vigorously. Thank you, Dr. Chen. Thank you so much. We can never repay you. Actually, I say quietly, you can. I need to speak with you both privately. We find an empty consultation room down the hall. My parents sit across from me, still glowing with gratitude and relief. This is the moment I've been planning for months. Mr. and Mrs. Lin, I begin, I need to discuss something important about Emma's medical history, specifically genetic predispositions that might affect her recovery. My father nods eagerly. Of course, anything you need to know. I noticed in her file that you mentioned having another daughter who died from medical complications. Could you tell me more about that case? The color drains from my mother's face. I don't see how that's relevant. Genetic factors can be crucial in post-operative care. I explain, my voice steady. What was her name? Sarah, my father whispers. Sarah Lynn. She was 16 when she died. And you were present during her final treatment? My parents exchange agonized looks. The guilt they've carried for 10 years is written across their faces. There was an emergency, my mother says, her voice barely audible. Emma had a dance competition, and we thought Sarah was stable, and the hospital said they would call if anything changed. So you left her alone to die? The words hang in the air like a scalpel suspended over flesh. My parents stare at me in shock. Dr. Chen? My father stammers. Why are you asking these questions? I lean back in my chair, studying their faces. These people who gave me life, who were supposed to protect me, who chose a dance recital over their dying daughter's bedside. Because, I say slowly, I wanted to understand the kind of people who abandon their children in their greatest hour of need. My mother's hands begin to shake. I don't understand. Don't you? I stand up, moving to the window that overlooks the emergency room where this all began. 10 years ago, you brought your daughter Sarah to this hospital. She was sick, scared, and alone. She needed you, and you left her for a dance competition that Emma didn't even win. How could you possibly know? My father begins, then stops, his face going ashen. I turn to face them, and for the first time tonight, I let them see the truth in my eyes. The recognition hits my mother first. She gasps, her hand flying to her mouth. Hello, Mom, Dad, did you miss me? The silence stretches for an eternity. My mother starts hyperventilating. My father's face cycles through disbelief, fear, and something that might be shame. That's impossible, he whispers. Sarah is dead. We buried her. We attended her funeral. You attended the funeral of someone you failed to protect, I correct. But death, as it turns out, isn't always permanent. Sometimes we get second chances. Sometimes we come back stronger. My mother is crying now, deep, wrenching sobs that shake her entire body. Sarah, my baby girl? I was never your baby girl, I say calmly. I was the spare daughter, the backup plan, the one you could afford to lose because you had Emma. That's not true, my father protests, but his voice lacks conviction. Isn't it? I pull out my phone, scrolling to a photo I've kept for months. This is Emma's medical file from tonight. Want to guess who authorized her emergency surgery? Who made sure she got the best surgeon in the hospital? Who saved her life? I show them the signature on the surgical consent form, Dr. Sarah Chen, their dead daughter's name, written in careful script across the page that grants life or death. I've been watching your family for months, I continue. Emma's been having abdominal pain for weeks, but you told her it was stress from her new job. Just like you told me my pneumonia was just a cold until I collapsed in school. My mother reaches toward me with trembling hands. Sarah, please, we were young, we made mistakes. You made choices, I interrupt. Tonight, I made one too. I chose to save Emma, even though she's never deserved the love you gave her. Do you know why? They wait, terrified. Because I'm a better person than either of you ever taught me to be. The intercom crackles overhead. Dr. Chen, 2 or 3, Dr. Chen, 2 or 3. I stand, straightening my white coat. Emma will be in recovery for another hour. She'll need someone to stay with her tonight to make sure she's not alone when she wakes up. I pause at the door. I trust you'll do better this time. 3 months later, I'm reviewing surgical schedules when my assistant buzzes through the intercom. Dr. Chen, there's a family here to see you. They say it's personal. I look up from my paperwork, already knowing who it is. They've been trying to contact me for weeks. Phone calls I don't answer, emails I delete, flowers sent to the hospital that I donate to patients' rooms. Send them in. My parents enter my office like penitents approaching an altar. They look older, worn down by guilt and the weight of their past choices. Emma follows behind them, still moving carefully from her surgery but alive and healthy. Dr. Chen, my father begins formally, we wanted to thank you again for saving our daughter's life. It's my job, I reply without looking up from my files. We also wanted to apologize, my mother adds, her voice thick with emotion. For everything. For failing you when you needed us most. Now I do look up, studying their faces. The desperation there is almost pathetic. You want absolution, I say. You want me to forgive you so you can sleep at night. Emma steps forward. Sarah, I know we weren't close before, but I've thought about you every day since the surgery. I remember things differently now. I remember how sick you were, how scared you looked when they brought you to the hospital. Do you remember the dance recital? Emma's face crumples. I came in third place. Third place. And you died because they chose to watch me fail. I didn't die because of your recital, Emma. I died because our parents valued your mediocre performance over my life. My father takes a shaky breath. We want to make amends, Sarah. We want to be a family again. I lean back in my chair, considering them, these broken people who shaped my first life through neglect and favoritism. A family, I repeat. What does that look like to you? Sunday dinners where you pretend the past 16 years didn't happen? Holiday photos where we all smile and act like you didn't abandon me to die alone? We could start small, my mother pleads, coffee maybe, just to talk. About what? About how you've spent 10 years grieving the daughter you never valued while she was alive? About how you've probably told everyone what devoted parents you were, how tragic it was to lose me? The accuracy of my words is written across their faces. You want to know the truth about family? I continue. Dr. Harrison, the attending who stayed with me when I was dying, he held my hand when I was scared. Dr. Reyes, the surgeon who tried to save me, she cried when I flatlined. The nurses on the pediatric ward, they remembered my birthday. I stand up, moving to the window that overlooks the hospital courtyard, where I often see families embracing after receiving good news. Dr. Harrison adopted me, in a way. When I came back, when I decided to become a surgeon, he was the one who believed in me. He mentored me, supported me, celebrated my achievements. He's the father you never learned how to be. My mother is crying again. Please, Sarah, we know we failed you, but we've changed. We've learned from our mistakes. Have you? I turn back to them. Because 3 months ago, when Emma was in surgery, you still didn't ask about me. You still didn't wonder why a stranger knew so much about your family history. You still only see what's directly in front of you. That's not fair, Emma protests. We were scared. We weren't thinking clearly. I was 16 and dying, and I was thinking clearly enough to wish my parents loved me. The words come out harsher than I intended, carrying 10 years of suppressed pain. My father steps forward. We did love you, Sarah. We do love you. We were overwhelmed. Emma needed so much attention with her activities and her school problems, and you were always so independent, so capable, so easy to ignore. No, that's not. He stops, realizing the truth of it. I return to my desk, pulling out a file folder. Do you know what this is? They wait. Emma's complete medical records from the past 5 years. 3 emergency room visits for panic attacks, 2 for suspicious bruises that turned out to be nothing, 1 for alcohol poisoning after a frat party. I close the folder. You've been to this hospital with her 6 times in 5 years. You know every nurse on the 3rd floor by name. The implications sink in slowly. You learned how to be present for Emma. You learned how to advocate for her, to ensure she was never alone during medical treatment. You figured out how to be the parents she needed. I pause. Just 10 years too late to matter to me. Emma sinks into a chair, the weight of understanding finally hitting her. We replaced you, she whispers. We became better parents, but only after you were gone. You became the parents I needed, but gave that gift to someone else. My parents stand in my office, broken by the truth of what they've done. The irony is almost poetic. Their neglected daughter grew up to save their favored one. What do you want from us? My father asks finally. Nothing, I say simply. That's what you gave me for 16 years, and I learned to thrive on it. I have a family now, my colleagues, my mentors, the people who saw my worth when you couldn't. But we're your parents, my mother protests weakly. Dr. Harrison is my father in every way that matters. Dr. Reyes was the mother who taught me strength. The nursing staff were the siblings who celebrated my successes. I gesture toward my diplomas on the wall, my awards, the photos of me with my surgical team. This is my family. They chose me. Emma looks up with red-rimmed eyes. I don't want to lose you again. You never had me to lose, Emma. You had the sister our parents created for you. The one who was supposed to support your dreams, celebrate your achievements, and never outshine you. I move back to the window. That sister died 10 years ago. The woman who saved your life is someone you've never met. The silence stretches until my pager beeps. Emergency surgery. I have to go, I announce, already reaching for my surgical cap. A 5-year-old needs me, and his parents are smart enough to stay with him. I pause at the door, looking back at them one final time. Emma will need follow-up appointments over the next few months. Make sure you don't miss them. And if you're ever tempted to leave her alone in a hospital again, remember that the doctor who saves her might not be as forgiving as I was tonight. 6 months pass before I see them again. This time it's Emma alone, sitting in the hospital cafeteria during my lunch break. She's lost weight, looks tired. How did you know I'd be here? I ask, taking a seat across from her. I've been coming here every day for 2 weeks, hoping to run into you. She wraps her hands around a coffee cup that's probably gone cold. You don't answer my calls. I don't have anything to say to you. I do, though. I have things to say to you. She takes a shaky breath. I remember more now, about before, about how they treated you. I wait. I remember you helping me with my homework every night, even when you were sick. I remember you coming to my dance recitals, even when you had your own school events. I remember you always putting me first. Tears start flowing down her cheeks. And I remember taking it all for granted because I thought that's just what big sisters did. Is there a point to this? The point is that you were a better sister to me than I ever was to you, and now you're a better person than any of us deserve. She reaches into her bag, pulling out a worn notebook. I found this in my room last month, hidden behind my dresser. Do you remember it? I glance at the cover and my breath catches. It's a journal I kept when I was 15, filled with my thoughts and dreams and plans for the future. I never knew you wanted to be a doctor, Emma continues. I never knew you'd already started studying for the MCATs, that you'd researched medical schools, that you'd written essays about wanting to save lives. She opens the journal to a page marked with a sticky note. In my teenage handwriting, the words feel like a punch to the gut. Someday I'll be the kind of doctor who stays with scared kids so they don't have to face surgery alone. I'll be the person I needed when I was sick. You became exactly who you wanted to be, Emma says softly. Despite everything they did to you, despite dying before you got the chance, you came back and became the person you dreamed of being. I close the journal, pushing it back toward her. Keep it. Consider it a memento of the sister you never bothered to know. I want to know you now. Now is too late, Emma. She flinches like I've slapped her. So that's it? You'll never forgive any of us? Forgiveness implies that you've done something to earn it. I stand up, my lunch break ending. You haven't apologized. You've just acknowledged what you did. There's a difference. Then tell me how to apologize. Tell me what you need. I pause, studying her face. For the first time, I see something that might be genuine remorse rather than self-serving guilt. You want to apologize? Stop trying to make this about you. Stop expecting me to comfort you through your guilt. Stop acting like we can just pick up where we left off when we never had a relationship to begin with. Then what do? Live your life, Emma. Be grateful for the second chance I gave you and try to deserve it. A year later, I'm in my office reviewing patient charts when Dr. Harrison knocks on my door. He's in his 70s now, the man who became my father in every way that mattered, who believed in me when no one else would. Sarah, you have some visitors in the lobby, he says, his expression unreadable. If it's my biological family, I've told the front desk. It's not them. Well, not exactly. He steps aside and I see Emma walking down the hallway, but she's not alone. She's pushing a wheelchair occupied by a small boy, maybe 6 years old, with the same serious eyes I recognize from looking in mirrors. Dr. Chen? Emma says formally as they approach. This is Daniel. He's my son, your nephew. I stare at the child, seeing hints of our shared genetics in his features. Emma, if you think bringing a child here will somehow... I'm sick, Daniel says matter-of-factly, his voice small but clear. Mommy says you're a doctor who fixes kids. Emma's eyes are bright with unshed tears. He has a rare heart condition. He needs surgery, and... She takes a shaky breath. You're the best pediatric surgeon in the state. I'm not here as your sister asking for forgiveness. I'm here as a mother, begging you to save my son. I kneel down to Daniel's level. What's wrong with your heart, buddy? It's got holes in it, he explains solemnly. Like Swiss cheese, but that makes it hard to pump blood around. That sounds scary. He nods. Mommy cries about it sometimes when she thinks I'm sleeping. I look up at Emma, seeing the same desperation in her eyes that I remember from our parents' faces a year ago. But there's something different here. This isn't about her. It's about an innocent child who needs help. Have you gotten second opinions? I ask professionally. 3 of them. They all say the same thing. The surgery is extremely risky, but without it... She can't finish the sentence. I stand up, my mind already analyzing the case, considering options and outcomes. I'll need to review his medical records, consult with cardiology, run some additional tests. Does that mean you'll help him? I look down at Daniel, who's watching me with curious, trusting eyes. He doesn't know about the complicated history between his mother and me. He only knows that he's sick and needs someone to help him. It means I'll evaluate his case like I would any patient's, I say carefully. If surgery is indicated and I'm the best surgeon for the job, then yes, I'll help him. Emma's relief is palpable. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Let me see his files first. 3 days of testing confirm what I already suspected. Daniel needs surgery, and soon. The defect in his heart is complex, requiring a level of skill that only a handful of surgeons in the country possess. I'm one of them. The surgery will take about 8 hours, I explained to Emma in the same consultation room where I revealed my identity to our parents. There's always risk with cardiac surgery, especially in children, but his age actually works in his favor. Children heal faster, adapt better. What are the odds? She asks, her voice barely a whisper. 93% chance of complete success, 5% chance of complications that would require additional surgery, 2% chance of... I pause. Outcomes we don't want to discuss. Emma nods, tears streaming down her face. When? Tomorrow morning. I've cleared my entire schedule. Emma, she says suddenly. What? You asked me what my name was that night when I was on the gurney. I never answered. She wipes her eyes. My name is Emma Lynn. I'm Daniel's mother, and I'm the sister who failed you. The next morning, I'm scrubbing in when Dr. Harrison joins me at the sink. Big day, he observes. Just another surgery. Is it? He studies my face in the mirror above the sinks. Sarah, you know you don't have to do this. There are other qualified surgeons who could... No, I interrupt. There aren't, not for this case. Daniel needs the best, and like it or not, that's me. And it has nothing to do with him being your nephew? I finish scrubbing, moving to the gowning area where nurses help me into my sterile gear. It has everything to do with him being a 6-year-old boy who needs someone to fix his heart. The surgery is the most challenging of my career. Daniel's heart defect is even more complex than the imaging suggested, requiring me to essentially rebuild the structure that should have formed properly before birth. My hands move with precision, born of years of training and experience, guided by the steady rhythm of his heart monitor. How are we doing, Dr. Chen? Asks Dr. Martinez, my chief resident. Good, better than good. I pause in my work, studying the small heart in my hands. He's a fighter. Like his aunt. I glance up sharply, but Dr. Martinez is focused on his monitoring equipment, apparently unaware of what he said. 8 hours later, I emerge from the OR to find Emma pacing the surgical waiting room. She's alone. Our parents aren't here, which actually comes as a relief. How is he? She asks immediately. The surgery was successful, we corrected all the defects, and his heart is functioning normally. I sink into a chair, exhausted. He'll need to stay in the ICU for a few days, but the prognosis is excellent. Emma collapses into the chair next to me, sobbing with relief. Thank you. Thank you so much. We sit in silence for several minutes, the weight of everything that's happened between us settling in the space around us. Sarah, Emma says finally, I know you'll probably never forgive me for the way we treated you, but I need you to know something. I wait. When Daniel was born, when I held him for the first time, I thought about you. I thought about how you must have felt, being the older sister, watching our parents fuss over me the way I was fussing over him. She wipes her eyes, and I swore I would never make him feel invisible the way we made you feel. Good, I say simply. I named him Daniel because it means God is my judge. I wanted him to know that his worth wasn't determined by what other people thought of him, but by something higher, something pure. She looks at me. I wish I'd learned that lesson before we lost you. Daniel spends a week in the hospital recovering. I check on him every day, not as his aunt, but as his surgeon, monitoring his progress and adjusting his care as needed. He's a remarkable kid, smart, resilient, curious about everything. Are you famous? He asks me one afternoon as I listen to his heart. What makes you think that? All the other doctors talk about you like you're really important. And you have a lot of awards on your wall. I'm good at my job, I tell him. Mommy says you saved my life. Your mommy is right. He considers this seriously. Does that make you like a superhero? I smile despite myself. Something like that. Cool, I've never met a superhero before. On his discharge day, Emma brings Daniel to my office to say goodbye. He's clutching a drawing he made, stick figures of a doctor and a little boy with a heart between them. That's for you, he says, handing me the paper. It's you fixing my heart. Thank you, Daniel. This is the best gift anyone's ever given me. Really? Really? Emma lingers as Daniel explores my office, looking at my diplomas and awards. Sarah, I know this doesn't change anything between us, but I want you to know that what you did for Daniel, it's changed everything for me. How so? I understand now what real love looks like. What it means to put someone else's needs first, even when it costs you something. She watches Daniel carefully examining a model of a human heart. You could have let your anger at me cost him his life, but you didn't. You put his needs above your feelings about me. He's innocent in this, Emma. Children always are. So were you. The words hang between us, carrying the weight of acknowledgement and regret. I can't undo what we did to you, she continues. I can't give you back your childhood, or your first life, or the love you deserved. But I can promise you that Daniel will never wonder if he's loved. He'll never question his worth. And when he's old enough to understand, I'll tell him about his aunt who saved his life and taught his mother what real strength looks like. I nod, accepting this small offering of redemption. Sarah, Emma says as they prepare to leave, if Daniel ever needs anything, ever needs help or surgery or just someone to talk to, could I bring him to see you? I look at the little boy who shares my blood but not my history, who gets to grow up loved and wanted and cherished. Yes, I say quietly. You can bring him to see me. 2 years later, I'm reviewing surgical schedules when my assistant buzzes through. Dr. Chen, you have a visitor. It's a little boy, says his name is Daniel. I look up, confused. Is his mother with him? No, ma'am, he's alone, says it's important. I frown, immediately concerned. Send him in. Daniel appears in my doorway, now 8 years old and taller, but still carrying that serious expression that makes him seem older than his years. Daniel, what are you doing here? Where's your mother? She's at work. I took the bus. He sits down in the chair across from my desk like he belongs there. I needed to see you. Does your mother know you're here? Not exactly. I reach for my phone. I need to call her. Let her know where you are. Wait, he says urgently. I came to ask you something important. What's that? He takes a deep breath, gathering his courage. I want to be a doctor like you when I grow up. A surgeon who fixes kids' hearts. That's a wonderful goal, Daniel. But I need to know something first. He looks at me with those serious dark eyes. Are you really my aunt? The question hits me like a physical blow. I set down my phone, studying his face. What makes you ask that? I'm not stupid. I hear things. Mommy cries sometimes and says your name. She has pictures of you when you were little, hidden in her jewelry box. You have the same nose as me. He leans forward. And when I asked Mommy why my grandparents never visit, she got really sad and said it was complicated. I consider my options. I could lie, maintain the professional distance I've worked so hard to create. Or I could tell this remarkable child the truth. Yes, I say finally. I'm your aunt. He nods like this confirms something he already suspected. Are you mad at Mommy? It's complicated, Daniel. Because she was mean to you when you were kids? I blink in surprise. How much do you know? Enough. He shrugs. Mommy told me she had a sister who died before I was born, but she talks about you like you're alive. And you look like the pictures. What else did she tell you? That she made mistakes when she was young. That she wasn't a good sister. That she wishes she could fix it, but some things can't be unfixed. He pauses. But you fixed my heart. So maybe you can fix other things too. The simple logic of a child's perspective cuts through years of anger and resentment. Some things are harder to fix than hearts, Daniel. But not impossible. I look at this boy, this unexpected bridge between the past I've tried to forget and a future I hadn't imagined. Not impossible, I admit. He smiles then, bright and hopeful. Good, because I want to know my aunt, and I think she wants to know me too. When I call Emma to let her know Daniel is safe, her panic is immediate and overwhelming. He took the bus? By himself? Oh God, what was he thinking? He wanted to see me. We had a conversation. About what? About family, about the truth. There's a long pause. How much does he know? Enough, Emma. He's smart, perceptive. You can't protect him from the truth forever. I know, I don't want him to think less of me. Then give him the chance to love you anyway. Another pause. Can I come pick him up? Maybe we could all have dinner or something? I look at Daniel, who's now examining my surgical instruments with fascination. Actually, I say, surprising myself, that might be nice. The dinner is awkward at first, 3 people navigating the complicated terrain of family relationships that defy easy categorization. But Daniel, with the adaptability of childhood, treats it like the most natural thing in the world. Aunt Sarah, he says over dessert, will you teach me about surgery? You're 8 years old. So, I can learn. I'm smart. He is, Emma confirms. His teachers say he's reading at a high school level. I study Daniel's eager face, seeing echoes of my own childhood curiosity about medicine. Tell you what, I say finally. If you keep your grades up and stay interested in medicine when you're older, maybe you can shadow me at the hospital sometimes. Really? Really? Emma reaches across the table, her hand stopping just short of mine. Thank you, she whispers. I don't take her hand, but I don't pull away either. We'll see, I say. One dinner doesn't fix 16 years. I know, but it's a start. 5 years later, 13-year-old Daniel spends his summer volunteer hours at the hospital, following me through rounds and asking endless questions about anatomy and surgical procedures. He's brilliant, driven, and completely dedicated to the idea of becoming a surgeon. Dr. Chen, he says one afternoon as we review patient charts. Can I ask you something personal? Sure. Do you ever forgive people? The question surprises me. What do you mean? I mean, if someone hurt you really badly, but they were sorry and they tried to make it better, would you forgive them? I set down the chart I'm reviewing. Are we talking about your mother? Maybe. Or maybe I'm just wondering about forgiveness in general. I consider the question seriously. Forgiveness isn't about the person who hurt you, Daniel. It's about whether carrying that anger is helping you or hurting you. And, for a long time, my anger helped me. It motivated me, drove me to become better, stronger. But there comes a point where holding on to it just weighs you down. Have you reached that point? I look at this remarkable young man who shares my passion for medicine, my dedication to helping others. He's the best thing to come out of our family's dysfunction. I'm getting there, I say honestly. Good, he says, returning to his charts, because I think mommy's suffered enough. That evening, I find Emma in the hospital cafeteria, sitting alone with a cup of coffee and looking exhausted. Rough day? I ask, taking the seat across from her. Daniel told me about your conversation, about forgiveness. He's worried about you. He thinks I deserve forgiveness, that I've changed enough, tried hard enough. She looks up at me. What do you think? I study her face, seeing the woman she's become rather than the selfish girl she used to be. She's a good mother, devoted to Daniel in ways our parents never were to either of us. I think, I say carefully, that maybe it's time to stop punishing you for being our parents' favorite. You were never the spare daughter, Sarah. You were just the one who didn't demand constant attention. And you've spent 13 years making sure Daniel knows he's loved unconditionally. Because of you. Because I learned what the absence of that love does to a person. We sit in comfortable silence for a while, two sisters who found each other again through the love of a child. Emma, I say finally, I can't give you back the sister you lost when I died. That person is gone forever. I know. But maybe we can figure out how to be family anyway. Different than before, but still family. She nods, tears streaming down her face. I'd like that. So would I. 10 years later, Dr. Daniel Chen graduates from medical school, top of his class. I sit in the audience with Emma, both of us beaming with pride, as he walks across the stage. Our parents aren't there. They reached out over the years, but some bridges are too broken to rebuild. Emma and I have each other, and we have Daniel, and sometimes that's enough. Dr. Sarah Chen, the dean announces from the podium, will you please join Dr. Daniel Chen on stage for the administration of the physician's oath? I walk up to stand beside my nephew, my protege, my brother in everything but blood. He chose to take my name when he applied to medical school, honoring the woman who saved his life and the legacy she represents. Do you solemnly swear, I begin, leading him through the oath I took so many years ago, to dedicate your life to the service of humanity? I do, he responds, his voice strong and clear. To respect the autonomy and dignity of your patients? I do. To practice medicine with compassion, integrity, and excellence? I do. As we finish the oath together, I think about the path that brought us here. The little girl who died alone in a hospital room. The woman who came back stronger. The family that fell apart and slowly, carefully put itself back together in a new configuration. Welcome to the medical profession, Dr. Chen. I say, shaking Daniel's hand formally before pulling him into a hug. In the audience, Emma is crying with joy and pride. She's learned to be the mother I needed, even if it was too late for me. But it wasn't too late for Daniel, and through him, she's given me something I never expected. A family that chooses love over obligation, healing over resentment, and hope over revenge. Sometimes the best revenge is living well. Sometimes it's becoming the person who saves others from the pain you once endured. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, it's discovering that the family that failed you can learn to do better and that second chances aren't just for the people who died and came back. They're for the people who love them too.